Okay, so if you're in perimenopause and if you've noticed that you now have anxiety or your anxiety symptoms that you've had previously have gotten worse, then we have to dive into these natural treatments right now.
Introducing the Perimena Bliss Podcast, a show dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of achieving optimal health naturally as you transition into perimenopause and menopause. Get ready to join your host, Dr. Seth Yates, an experienced naturopathic doctor, acupuncturist, and kinesiologist, as he shares his wealth of knowledge acquired from over 40,000 patient visits and 15 years in working with perimenopausal females. Welcome to the Perimena Bliss Podcast.
Hey, this is Doc Yates. Welcome to Perimenopause Bliss, brought to you by perimenopause.com, ablehealth.us, and today I want to talk about some natural treatments that you can use to help your anxiety during perimenopause. Now, if you've heard any of my other podcasts before, and that I've touched on anxiety, you already know that I'm a big fan of balancing progesterone levels, because when progesterone drops, anxiety and worry goes up. Now, that's great, but today we're going to talk about 6 different things that are natural things that you can do to improve your anxiety. Some of these things work acutely. Some of them can help change your mindset. All of them are safe and natural. So let's dive into it. Number 1, herbal therapies. These are great because they work quick. And progesterone can work quick too, but sometimes it can take up to a month to balance. And not that you always need. It's not that you need that. I need that magic button, that magic pill to have an effect right now. But it's nice to know that you have something in your back pocket that can work quick. That's what these are. These herbs: lemon balm, skullcap, passion flower, ashwagandha, valerian, and there's more than that. But some of these have been studied to work as good for anxiety as benzodiazepines, which are a pretty strong medication with pretty strong side effects. But the nice thing is that the herbs get the same benefits without the side effects. They're not making you so drowsy that you can't work. They're not making your mood so that you feel nothing. They're not making you gain weight or have absolutely no libido or any emotion. That's why these herbs work so well. So consider those herbs. If you need to rewind and go back and listen to them, go right ahead. Number 2, exercise. Exercise trumps anxiety. Exercise always trumps anxiety. When you're anxious, you won't feel like doing it. That's the trick. So you have to just kind of go out. If you have the ability that you can go outside and force yourself to exercise, and instead of thinking about the exercise, just thinking about trying to breathe while you exercise. All the other benefits from the exercise are going to happen on their own, but while you're exercising, just think about breathing deeply. Just focus on, even if it means you have to, instead of counting reps, count your breaths. Just count to 7 over and over and over again. Okay, now the next thing that we want to talk about, this one's kind of interesting. It's called the mammalian diving reflex. Now, if you've ever heard of those stories of people who've fallen through the ice into cold water and they were stuck down there way longer than you think they could have ever survived, and yet they pulled them out and they did. This is because cold water, when your body's exposed to cold water, it automatically will slow down your heart rate and basically it's slowing down your breathing rate completely because you're underwater. So it slows down all of these systems that are normally ramped up with anxiety. So there's a trick that you can do on your own and trick your own body to think that it has no choice but to slow everything down. You can take just basically like ice packs on your face, put them on your face, take a deep breath in and hold your breath for 30 seconds. Or you could fill up a sink or a pot or something and then take a deep breath, submerge your face into this cold water for about 30 seconds at a time, and your body will automatically slow down your heart rate and slow down all those symptoms that cause anxiety. It's really neat. So the mammalian diving reflex. Okay, The next thing, the fourth point, is called pursed lip breathing. So imagine that you had like a single birthday candle about 2 feet in front of you, and you wanted to blow a thin stream of air to hit the tip of that candle. So you kind of pucker up your lips and blow that straight line. That's called pursed lip breathing. And what that does is it slows down your exhales so that you can't blow all your air out at once, and it slows down your breathing. And it actually has an effect will increase carbon dioxide in your body. Do you remember a long time ago when you used to see shows and someone would be like kind of freaking out, and they'd give them a bag to breathe into? And like, you'd see, especially in the old cartoons, it's like, here, they're breathing into this bag. Because what happens when they were doing that is that they were breathing in used air. They were breathing in more carbon dioxide and increasing their carbon dioxide. And while that sounds, carbon dioxide, it sounds, everything now about carbon dioxide, like, oh, it's the worst. No, when it comes to your body, getting a little bit of extra carbon dioxide will actually increase the amount of oxygen that your body's dumping into your cells. So slowing down your breathing is another great way to do it without, suffocating yourself with a bag. So what you're going to do is you're going to slowly exhale for 7 seconds, like you're trying to blow out that birthday candle. Then you hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you just breathe in. Then you slowly exhale like you're blowing out the candle for 7 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you breathe in. And just keep repeating. If you repeat that 7 times, I've had people do that in the office and seen their blood pressure go from being quite elevated to normalized, and their heart rate come right down within 7 breaths. So it makes a big difference. Okay, now the 5th point. This is not really telling you what to do, it's telling you what not to do. You want to resist dopamine activities. And you're like, well, what the heck does that mean? I'm talking about when you're stressed and anxious, you want to resist doing what most people do, which is alcohol, stimulants, turning to comfort foods. These are things that instead of helping with serotonin, they help with dopamine. And the problem with that is it's a very temporary benefit, but it changes so that each time you need a little bit more dopamine. So that's why all of these things can become so addictive in your lifestyle, because of the way it affects your body. And because of the way that you're going to associate that you need it, but then to get the benefit of it, you need more each time. So don't use those. Instead, I would suggest doing this. There's a lot of other people, no matter how bad of a state you're in, you're going to find people who are in a worse state. So one of the things that you can do is actually go to where these people are, and maybe even if you just did it once, or maybe you did it once a month, but you could volunteer to help them. Maybe volunteer at a children's hospital, volunteer at a burn unit, volunteer for seniors at a seniors residence. There's a lot of different things that you could do, or volunteer for people who don't need help. It's something that you love. Like maybe you love pets, maybe you could volunteer at an animal shelter. So instead of turning to those other activities, the dopamine activities, turn to these ones, which are more serotonin activities, and you will get better long-term benefits from that. So with all that being said, you can still use progesterone, and I suggest you do, because I think that's a major underlying issue for anxiety, for perimenopause, but try these other issues too. I hope this was helpful. I'm Doc Yates, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to the Perimenopause podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and visit perimenopause.com for more valuable information on how you can thrive during your transition through perimenopause. Join our community of like-minded women who are dedicated to achieving optimal health naturally, and stay up to date with the latest tips, tricks, and advice from Dr. Seth Yates. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Perimenopause podcast.